Welcome and welcome back. Today we are building this pair of bedside tables for a client. And if you've seen anything that I've designed and built myself, this is nothing like anything that I would design or build. And that's a good thing for multiple reasons. The first one being that if you want to make any money as a furniture maker or as a woodworker, you're going to have to build things that you don't want to build. That's not to say that this project is not something I would want to build, because it turns out I really enjoyed building it and I loved how it turned out. But when I first kind of started my own business, I had these ideas of these products I was going to make and sell. And for instance, I designed a coffee table and came up with a few different iterations of it. Figured out packaging and a way to sell it online, and put all these things together, got the product ready, manuals for the product. I had all this together and I put it up for sale and nobody bought it. And I invested a lot of time and money into that project and didn't make a single sale. And that was a piece of furniture that I liked to build. It was something that I thought looked good. I ended up just giving away one of the tables actually, which I don't mind. I'm happy to give something away that I've made. But I think also you have to realize you got to make something that other people want if you want to make any sort of money off of that. And oftentimes people want what they like, and that's not going to be what you like. So for me, I kind of had to make that realization that, not everything I make people are going to like, and I could either make the things that I like and probably not sell much of them, or start making things that other people like because it's going in their home, it's something that they like, and even if this is not something that I would build for myself, it's something that I can still build. And that brings me to my next point is, we all have gifts in life, and I think this is something that I have been gifted with, the ability to make things specifically out of wood. So if somebody comes to me asking me if I can make them something out of wood, who am I to really say no to that? If I'm busy and have a bunch of projects going on, obviously, you got to set your limits at some point. But there's been projects I've done lately that aren't even furniture related projects. Like for instance, there's a school that I made some playground equipment for, and I've made some planters, and these are different projects I've done that aren't furniture projects and aren't something I'm really even going to put on the channel here. I didn't even film any of it, but they're projects they're things that other people needed made out of wood, and they came to me because they know that I have that skill to do that. And so I could have said no, that's not the type of work I've done, and I have told people that before. And looking back on it, I just think, it's kind of selfish to say and do. Somebody needs your help in making something. And yeah, woodworking isn't going to solve world hunger or anything like that, but if you have something that you're good at doing and you have people that are needing your skill, why turn those opportunities down just because it's not your ideal project? You still can provide some assistance and help for other people, and often get paid doing it. Or even if you're not getting paid, just building a piece of furniture for a friend, or a little project for a friend, helping somebody out. If you have the means and the ability to do it, I think you should. And that's something that I've been trying to do more of lately. Instead of saying no to a bunch of things, finding ways that I can actually help with the gifts that I have. So whether you're a mechanic, a school teacher, therapist maybe, a plumber, a painter, IT specialist, I don't know what your skill is, but I think everybody has gifts and talents, and I think it is our duty to help our fellow neighbor human beings with those skills and talents. So yeah, just something I've been thinking about, especially with projects lately, and how I could really branch out and do more than just what I want to do. So yeah, this project here, getting back to more of the build side of it. Like I said, the design is completely based off of an existing piece of furniture, but the construction method, that's kind of where I had to come up with a game plan and figure out the best way to go about building this cabinet. So you'll see here the assembly of the carcass. So that is these two rails glued and nailed into this plywood, and you'll notice a miter on all of those edges because the legs sit at a 45 to the sides of the box. So that's why the 45 there. And you'll also notice, hey, you got some pocket holes on the wrong side of the cabinet, buddy. Yes, they are, but they're going to be covered up by trim. And so that's why we're allowed to get away with this here. And they wouldn't really work on the inside since the legs sit at a 45 to the sides and front and back of the box. Those pocket holes screws really wouldn't be biting into much material. It just wouldn't be strong at all and wouldn't hold. It just wouldn't work. So we have that trim there. That's why I kind of chose to do it this way. Quicker and easier. Just as strong and will last a lifetime, but a little more convenient for the construction side of things. So I made these side assemblies, and then we kind of went and assembled the fronts and the backs. And the next part you'll see is the trim detail that we're going to add to this cabinet. Now, when the client first approached me about this job, this was the main factor of whether or not I was going to take this on, if I could find this trim, because you'll see here in a minute, it is not something, well, I guess it could be hand carved if you're really good at carving. And I would admit, I attempted to do a little sample piece, hand carve this, and it was not going to work, especially for the amount that I needed. So luckily I was able to source this online, and you see here, it's this infinity swirl pattern. Super difficult to do by hand. I definitely do not have the skill to do that by hand. I'm sure somebody does, but this was machined on a CNC, I would assume. So you'll see there it covering up the pocket holes, and that's how we're able to get away with that. So the trim detail on here is this swirl piece, and then two little bullnose strips that go on the top and the bottom of that trim piece, and that kind of makes up the full detail, and what really kind of pulls this piece together. And like I said, this isn't something I would have come up with on my own, or even think to have used a molding like this. But I'm glad that I took on this project and made this, because now it makes me think, what pieces of furniture could I design with different moldings? Because my style is more, I guess, modern and minimalist. So adding all these little tiny moldings everywhere that I have to cut with a handsaw, you see here, because I don't know if you ever tried to cut anything small on a chop box or a miter saw, but it can get pretty hectic and pretty dangerous. So hand tools are generally the way to go with smaller material like this. But anyways, having built this, it kind of opens your eyes to, different possibilities and things that it can do with pieces that I design, and kind of expands my horizons a bit on what I'm capable of designing and building. So this project I'm going to stretch out into two parts, just because I did film a lot of this process, and if I made it all into one video, it would be like 30 to 40 minutes long. So I figured I'd break it up into two parts. So this first part is just getting the carcass made with those trim details and finishing off these leg pieces. You see here, these are little feet I'm having to add to the bottom of these legs to match the dresser piece. It just wouldn't have been possible to make this out of one piece of wood, really, or it'd be super impractical to make. So we'll add these feet to it, glue it, pin it, and screw it to the bottom of it. But like I said, this is going to be a two-part series, so this is part one, and in part two we will be making the drawers, the drawer fronts, the tops, getting the paint on it, and getting this project completed. So I appreciate you if you've made it to this far in the video for watching, and you'll see here some more finished shots of the project itself. But like I was saying earlier in the video, we all have talents and skills to use in the world, and we're all gifted with something we're good at. And so if you've made it this far in the video, comment below that skill or ability you have that you use to help other people out, whether you get paid for it or not. And also, if you've made it this far, I appreciate you so much for watching. I really do. Leave a like if you've enjoyed it. Comment below your thoughts on this project. And subscribe if you're not already. I really appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time. And like I said, this will be 2 parts, so we'll see you in part 2. Until then, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later.